President Joe Biden addressing the nation earlier this evening regarding a 6-step plan to get the coronavirus under control. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday, everyone. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. President Biden saying this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, urging Americans to get their shot. His plan includes a rule that all employers with more than 100 workers must ensure all employees are fully vaccinated or require them to show proof of a daily negative COVID test. It also includes paid time off for employees to get vaccinated and low-cost COVID-19 testing supplies.
And Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno issuing a citywide mask mandate for indoor and outdoor spaces. The order goes into effect starting this coming Monday, September 13th. People will be required to wear masks indoors at all times and outdoors when social distancing isn't possible, and regardless of their vaccination status. Health officials say this change comes as COVID-19 cases continue to rise within Springfield and across Hampden County. The order remains in effect until November 1st. The Roderick Ireland Courthouse in downtown Springfield reopened today after a 2-week shutdown due to mold. But many are still refusing to go inside that building.
Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live from there with more. Audrey?
The courthouse was back open today after an environmental report showed that only 3 areas of the building were deemed unacceptable. But it's far from a fully staffed operation, as officials are concerned about sending their workers, inmates, and members of the public back inside.
It smells the same way, you know.
Blake Bogan went into the Roderick Ireland Courthouse to try and get bail money back. Even following the 2-week shutdown due to mold, he says he couldn't complete the errand.
It was all remote. There was nobody in there. I mean, it's basically shut down.
Court officers were in the building on Thursday, but many were not. The Register of Probate allowed staff to remain working remotely. The Hampden County Clerk of Court switched to a rotating schedule after the staff tried working in the conditions left after the building was cleaned over the weekend. Hampden County Sheriff Nick Kochi announced he won't send inmates there, especially after he saw these pictures taken Thursday of his facilities within the courthouse.
Do I think people are going to court tomorrow? No. Do I think we can do some work over the weekend and take a look at it again on Monday? That's my intention.
Kochi says he looked at the environmental report released Wednesday and was especially concerned about the air ducts and vents, especially when inmates are dropped off at court by 9 a.m. with no clear timeline for how long they'll stay in the building.
If you're seen early, maybe you're there 3 hours. But if you're not seen till the afternoon session, you could be up there to 6 to 7 hours.
Kochi says he spoke with the Hampden District Attorney, who told Western Mass News he would not send his staff back in the building until independent testing could be completed. Kochi says after years of health concerns surrounding the building, he wants to protect both the inmates and the public.
What no one's going to say is that Kochi arbitrarily put people in harm's way.
Now, in Worcester Superior Court today, a hearing was set for September 20th for the class action lawsuit that was filed by the Hampden County Register of Deeds against the Massachusetts trial court. Immediately after that hearing date was set for the 20th, the judge heard another temporary restraining order that was filed in order to close this building again. That judge said that he would take that temporary restraining order under advisement and issue a ruling later. Reporting live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Audrey, thanks for that live report, and stay dry out there. We're following developing news now as South Hadley High School parents and students have logged into a virtual information session at this hour to hear about the next steps on the mold situation.
Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis joins us live outside the high school with more on that. Leon?
Yeah, Chris, Jordan, what we know is that students could be back in the classroom potentially the week of September 20th. That's only if the mold is completely cleaned up by then, with the exception of the gym and the auditorium. Now, it will take a little bit longer. Remediation crews back at the school today, as they have been since the mold was first discovered last week, forcing the first day of school to be delayed. Superintendent Jamal Mosley has set up the virtual session tonight to answer students and parents' questions and concerns. I spoke with Mosley a short time ago about how bad the mold is.
It's pretty substantial in the sense that it does cover the majority of the building, so we are remediating that. So That's kind of a loaded question. It's throughout the It's throughout the majority of the building.
The superintendent says cleanup efforts in the gym and auditorium will take longer if students do return to the classroom the week of September 20th.
I think they're going to be here well into October, because what we're doing and what that time frame really shares is that we're going to get the classroom, the cafeteria, and the library ready for the projected September 20th, and then we still have to do the gym and the auditorium, and that's going to take longer, but at least we'll get the kids back in person during that week.
Between now and that projected week, the school district is looking for another learning location for students. They have an updated list now since not many options are possible. They say St. Teresa's Church in South Hadley has up to 6 classrooms available. The Mass Mutual Center in Springfield only available September 17th to October 1st at a cost of $8,000 to $12,000 a day. Heritage Academy in Long Meadow is available at a cost of $12 and up per square foot. And Will Scott portable classrooms are a possibility, but at a cost of $114,000 for each 2 classroom space. Now, more decisions are expected soon, and as far as days missed, Mosley says they're going to try to get a waiver from the state. Live in South Hadley, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
Well, it has been a dreary day out there, and over the last 24 hours, we haven't seen a ton of rainfall, except in a few locations. The heavy rain that hit last night in northern Berkshire County, that's what those high totals are from. The valley really hasn't gotten much. There have been a couple of batches of really heavy rain that fell and brought over an inch, but then there are some locations that have only picked up around 1/10 of an inch, so kind of a widespread rainfall. Right now, Berkshire County is starting to see the rain come to an end. It is still raining in the valley. When we saw Audrey doing her live shot, she was in this guy right here, so that's a heavier shower. Everyone else is dealing with light to moderate rain at this hour. Now, we're on the tail end of this system. It will be moving out tonight, so rain will be gradually coming to an end as we get closer to midnight. After that, we will have some gradual clearing, but it may take until morning. Syracuse right now is just starting to clear out. Currently, well, we can't see much out there. I don't even know what camera this is. I think it's Monarch. 70-degree temperature and dew point. Wind is calm. The rain is falling heavily in Springfield right now. Everyone else dealing with light rain, 60s to near 70 degrees, but dew points are on the high side. Now, those will start dropping as we head into tomorrow as well, but the rest of the evening is just kind of gross. As we go into this weekend, though, couldn't be better. I'll have the details in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Janna, thanks. Western Mass News is your school authority, and we've been keeping a close eye on the drastic rise in COVID-19 cases among students and staff.
And now local school districts are making changes to their COVID-19 protocols just weeks into the new school year. Western Mass News reporter Briseida Landaverde joins us live now with more details. Briseida?
Yeah, Chris and Jordan, where there's definitely a lot of changes happening here in Western Mass. Over in Northampton, the school district is expected to vote tonight on whether or not they will be requiring COVID-19 vaccines for teachers and staff. In Holyoke, school officials are ramping up COVID-19 safety measures in the classroom. Now, I did speak to one parent in that school district, and she says she is very concerned over the rise in COVID-19 cases. Paula Rosario's daughter is a first-grade student in the Holyoke Public School District, and she's concerned that within the first 12 days of in-person learning, the district has seen positive COVID-19 cases double.
Right now I'm very worried because at home I also have my parents that have cancer. So yeah, we're basically panicking a little bit.
Western Mass News is digging deeper into the numbers. We reported last Wednesday a total of 28 positive COVID-19 cases among students and staff. As of Thursday of this week, that number has jumped to 63. This includes 5 staff members and 58 students. Putting this into perspective, Holyoke school officials tell us altogether there are over 6,000 students and staff. This means only 1% of the population has contracted the virus.
A lot of times it's due to kind of a lack of compliance with protocols. We understand that teachers and staff members are trying their best, but this is really a time to double down on our safety.
Erin Linville, the chief of strategy and turnaround within the city school district, tells Western Mass News 7 of the 63 positive cases are suspected to be a result of transmission within the classroom. Linville says school officials determine the difference between community and school exposure through contact tracing.
We keep seating charts for every classroom. So what's really important is if we find out that a child has COVID or a staff member has COVID that they got from being out in the community and they end up testing positive.
Because of the recent uptick in cases, the district is now ramping up their safety measures. This includes virtual open houses, virtual meetings among staff, and discontinuing a classroom classic, reading around the table.
Because it's really difficult to maintain that 3 feet of distance in those settings.
Linville says the message to the HPS community is very clear. COVID-19 compliance is of the highest importance to mitigate the spread of the virus.
We all know your mask has to cover your nose and your mouth, and it's our responsibility as adults to make sure we're really reminding kids regularly whenever we see non-compliant behavior.
And Linville says they are continuously communicating with parents via email, social media, and in person. As for Northampton, if the vote were to pass, they would be one of the first school districts in the state to require vaccines for teachers and staff. For now, reporting live, Mercedes Landaverde for Western Mass News.
Mercedes, thanks for that live report. The Department of Public Health releasing today's COVID-19 data. The state's positivity rate over the past week sits at 2.48%. Officials say there have sadly been 18 new deaths due to the virus, and so far a little more than 64.5% of Massachusetts residents have been fully vaccinated. For a full look at those numbers, you can check out our free Western Mass News streaming app.